Fukushima, the Fukushima area surrounding, should be the most studied area on the planet for high energy particles. There should be Geiger counters taking records and logs all over the countryside. It should be systemic, it should be widespread. These instruments should be proven and known. They're not that expensive, nor the software and systems around them, in compared to the cost of cancer treatment. Let's use that for our runner, right? What they've said so far is there has been no increase in thyroid cancers from Fukushima. The only way you do that is you change the statistics, you change the numbers. You don't look for it, you discourage it, you change the rules for detecting thyroid cancers. That's what's happened. That's exactly what's happened. They change the rules, and all of a sudden the numbers seem to match what they want them to match. They raise a harm rate, a risk, and all of a sudden the safety matches what they want it to match. Well, as I've noted here for some 100 videos at least, the detection of isotopes is critical in determining the harm of an area, period, end. We have known this since Chernobyl, the lessons of Chernobyl. I'm sorry if you're too young to have had those lessons, to remember those lessons. They're out there and can be found very easily. And you'll find the discrepancies. You'll find things like only 20,000 people died. Or is it 400,000 people that died? You'll find a hospital in Cuba that still to this day is treating the children of Chernobyl. That country south of us that won't play the game the way we want to play. Yet they do some good. Children of Chernobyl in Cuba, just miles off America's coast. Still there. How many years later? They're no longer children. So these are the lessons we learn. We learn about plume maps. We learn about biological concentration. We learn about how this pollution travels through the soil, how the rain carries it down mountains and washes it into little puddles that settle the debris out and children go play in. This is exactly what we know about radiation. Why that area is not the most mapped and most described on the planet is a good question. What you see is they won't fund the large systems, the large studies of this type. It could prove them totally innocent, but it won't do that. It will not do that if we went out and monitored correctly. The SafeCast map I refer to, safecast.org, that map is the closest thing we have to real-time reading. It is excellent. It's not enough. The whole area, any area of a bad color, let's use colors, should be gone over with a spectrometer dealies. But getting those readings to have meaning takes practice, takes procedures, and takes processes, and it takes the meter. The meter itself is $38,000 that I know of, that I'd recommend, that would be used. It's the type of meter that the federal government buys for our first responders if they get funded, which they don't, because there's a bunch of training that comes along with using those meters that makes people very conscious and aware of how pollution works. So spectrometry in Japan, why it's not done. This is a very smart culture and people. There's only two reasons these things don't get done. Because they cannot get funding, they cannot have the conversations to get the funding, and the people that have the money are not interested. That's a shame. That's a crime. That's thoughts and prayers working against us, when conversations and words are really what we need surrounding nuclear pollution across the globe. The harm is undoable, unrepairable. Fukushima's lessons. The cost of new nuclear facilities, the lessons. The taxpayers funding all the old nuclear facilities that still maintain the same profit margins. How do you take state taxpayer money and reward some corporate thief that merely was in the right place with the right money and the right senators in his pocket. This is nuclear. This is nuclear level pollution. Good morning. Tuesday morning. More nuclear rants.